Today we're going to talk mostly just teams that need to make a move, that need to add something before the trade deadline. So who jumps to mind right away for you?
In terms of buyers, the one team that I'm looking at right now, undoubtedly, is Milwaukee. And not for the same reasons necessarily as everyone is pointing out in terms of, we need a secondary ball handler and all that. Like, I'm just worried about the injury bug a little bit. They have so much depth, but at the same time, you can't really afford to lose like Chris Middleton for an extended period of time if it's going into the playoffs. And Eric Bledsoe, while not a great shooter, does add a secondary element of a supporting cast to Giannis. Like, he can drop 20 if need be. But I think they need one more guy. I think they need one more guy who can take some decisions on his own when Giannis sits. And I realize it comes off so dumb because they're 24-4, and they've been just blowing through the entire league and have gone through what was it, an 18-game winning streak. Like I get it, but they need that one tiny addition of a good player who can just round out the rotation, and then I'm there.
What are you thinking, like a Drew Holiday type or more minor than that?
Oh, you remember my DM right there. Okay. Yeah. So the New Orleans Pelicans obviously did not get off to the start that they wanted to.
Right.
And they are, we're going to have a different podcast doing like the sellers thing, they're going to be on there. And Drew Holiday is apparently fair game in trade discussions. Like they'll probably get a haul for him, so I don't know how realistic it is for him to end up in Milwaukee.
Right.
But I think given that the rumor mill right now are basically trying to force either Chris Paul or Kyle Lowry towards Milwaukee, I just think Drew Holiday makes so much more sense, both from an age perspective and a playing style perspective.
Definitely, yeah.
So if they were going for another, none of these guys are top tier level guys, but if they're going for someone in that quality range, they should definitely prioritize Holiday. And the question is, like, what do you give up in that trade? I don't know what you give up. Had you kept Malcolm Brogdon, that would have been a pretty big asset to move.
Right, yeah. So Mark Stein of the New York Times is the one who said, Holiday is indeed available. It would surely cost a significant amount to pry him away, but this is a notable change in status given how unavailable Holiday was last season. David Griffin came out and immediately shot this down. So I think it's what you said. They're open for offers just because there are very few players in the NBA that you should not be open to offer. Like Giannis is not up for grabs, or he should not be. But even a second tier star, and you're supposed to take offers for most guys in the league. So their willingness to at least listen is notable. But yeah, again, it comes down to you have Eric Bledsoe for salary matching. But other than that, I mean, I just don't. You're going to have to give up Dante DiVincenzo, DJ Wilson maybe. A ton of picks, I guess.
Pat Connaughton, because he's a bargain at 1.7, but he's going to be a free agent as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to find. I guess you would have to do Bledsoe and Ilyasova just for the salary matching, and then throw in. But at that point, you're going to have to. Either New Orleans is waiving players, or they're going to have to send guys back as well. It's hard to create deals with a ton of players just from the salary matching side. So that's always something to keep in mind. I am having people send me 9 player 3-team trades, and it's this is never going to happen. It's just these things are
a one-on-one trade is hard enough.
Right. It's just these things rarely happen where you include that many players at one time, or if you do, it's it's got to be mutually beneficial to both sides. So, I could understand the Pelicans at least listening on Drew. I don't know that Milwaukee in particular has what it takes to get a guy like him.
Right. I agree with that. I still think they need someone. And it doesn't really have to be someone of that skill set necessarily. I mentioned Drew just because right now the rumor mill are mentioning Paul and So I mean, I would be fine with the Bucks acquiring just another borderline starting caliber player. Mm-hmm. And I don't really care necessarily what position that is, as long as it's a guy who can make proper reads and take good decisions when the ball is in his hands.
Yeah.
But I also wouldn't here's the thing. If Milwaukee walks out of the trade deadline having made no trades whatsoever, there's not going to be, I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, they screwed the pooch. No. It's they're still a championship contender, a top-tier NBA team. I think the only reason I'm looking at that, and I'm kind of wondering, how far can they go, is because the West is just so strong. Mm-hmm. There's so many teams there that could come up and challenge them in the finals.
Yeah.
If I want Milwaukee to get a proper shot, I just need one more guy.
Yeah, and preferably someone who doesn't disappear in the playoffs like Eric Bledsoe every year.
Part of that, and also so Brook Lopez, I love him, but I don't know. I don't really know what he is right now.
Yeah,
he was last year and this year again. He's taking a lot of threes and he's blocking shots. I love the defense, and I love the fact that he can space the floor. But he's hitting 29% from down 38% overall. He's averaging less than 10 points a game, and he's taking up a ton of cap space. I probably want just a little bit more stability. So I know I said I wouldn't really put a priority on a certain position, but if they got a guy who could be versatile and play multiple positions, then and that could allow Giannis to play a little bit more center, perhaps. I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you in thinking they could use an upgrade. They don't necessarily need one, but
right.
I agree that it's I would like to see them, just continue adding, because we're not going to fall into the trap, at least not yet, of, the ESPN, the only thing we talk about with Milwaukee is Giannis' free agent clock in 2021. Milwaukee is 24-4 right now. Let's talk, Giannis is the leading candidate for MVP. Let's focus on them being, the favorite in the East right now. That's the story with Milwaukee this season. Giannis's free agency can wait. But that is in the back of your mind, especially if they don't make a move at the deadline, they get knocked out before the finals, then that drumbeat starts getting a little louder, especially seeing what Brogdon's doing in Indiana right now.
Right.
They could have kept him. They didn't because of the luxury tax. That doesn't reflect well moving forward. And, Giannis probably has that in the back of his mind as well. So do they make a move to get, are they willing to pay the tax? Are they able to add another big name that fits well with this core moving forward, to convince Giannis, yep, this is my home 2021 and beyond. That's definitely something they need to consider. But again, when you're 24-4, you're not talking about blowing up this team. They're very good as is. They don't need to overhaul their starting five necessarily.
Can I read you just an insane stat that I just realized right now?
Yeah.
On a per 36-minute scale, over the past 2 seasons, Giannis has gone up 10 points and 5 rebounds on a per 36 minute.
Yeah, he's okay.
He was at 26 points and 10 rebounds when he was 23 years old, which is very, very good numbers.
Sure.
His per 36 is 36.5 points and 15 rebounds.
That's wild. It's just outrageous.
Oh man, this is like reading a video game box score. He has a PER of 34.6, which is the highest ever, and I kind of feel like this is totally sustainable for the rest of the year.
Right, I know nothing he's doing feels like a fluke. It's just he's gotten this good, and he's only gonna get better.
And he's even having a terrible year shooting free throws. If he gets a handle of that, it's over. But just having one more guy, just so it doesn't really fall all the way back on Giannis, that would be good. And that's not just belittle Chris Middleton's contribution. You and I are Middleton homers,
of course. But the loss against Dallas did kind of at least put the concern on display with Milwaukee, where it's all right, you can let Giannis get his. He's going to get 40. That's fine. But if you shut down everyone else, and just let him eat, it's like, well, where is that reliable second option? It could be Middleton some nights, it could be Bledsoe some nights, but Giannis is the one guy who you can pencil in for sure. This guy's going to get his. Right. Do they have that second guy where it's like, Middleton was 4 of 12 for 9 points against a Mavericks team without Luka Doncic?
Right. Like, Giannis doesn't have a LeBron James or an Anthony Davis alongside him, like LeBron James and Anthony Davis have
right.
those guys alongside him. So, and I wonder if that's what it comes down to. Like, you need, like, maybe not a top tier guy, but a tier B guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think they should definitely look around. I don't think they should make a panic trade. I don't think they should overpay. Yeah. It's just a matter of, is something out there? Maybe a team is just willing to sell off pieces to go into a rebuild or something. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a deal to be had out there that makes sense. Like, go for it. That's fine.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, don't panic trade for Kevin Love.
No, God no.
So, like, I've seen that floating around Twitter just a little bit. I was like, no, don't like it. Stay away.